In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Hello and welcome, my dear sisters, to our lesson today, which is going to be about Unit 4, Reading, Writing, Form, Meaning and Function. Then we will move to Unit 5, Listen and Discuss and Grammar. Let's start by seeing the objectives of today's lesson. Today, inshallah, we will point out how certain popular foods were discovered and write a description of a memorable meal. Then differentiate between countable, non-countable nouns, classify expressions of a quantity according to the type of nouns, name a way humans can use to communicate with animals, structure a correct passive model, and finally, report a passive verb. Okay, so these are the objectives of today's lesson. Let's go and talk about reading. Okay, so please open your book, pages 60 and 61. But before reading, you are going to read the article and underline. What does it mean, underline? It means to put line under the information that tells you how. Okay, so you are going to use how certain popular foods were discovered. Okay, so you are going to underline how, or the information that tells you how certain popular foods were discovered. Okay, so the title is what? Accidental Food Discoveries. Okay, as you can see here, accidental food discoveries, sorry. Okay, so here, this is how you can use the information and underline the information. Then, we are going to ask questions and answer them, of course, after reading. In your own words, now you are going to tell us how you can express opinion or tell stories, okay? Explain how popsicles were invented. Popsicles? Yeah, okay. We will talk about this. Number 2, where was the ice cream cone invented? Where? Talking about a place. How did Syrian culture contribute, okay, helped or contribute to help, I'm talking about here, to the invention of the ice cream cone? 4, what did Ruth Wakefield get from Nestle in exchange for her recipe? Finally, why did George Crumb originally create the potato chip? Okay, so let's go and see the answers. Number 1, a boy left a bucket of soda out on cold night with a mixing stick, okay, a mixing stick in it, and it froze. This is how the popsicle were invented or discovered. Number 2, where was the ice cream cone invented? I'm talking about the place. It was invented at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. 3, how did the Syrian culture contribute? Okay, a Syrian immigrant named Ernest Hemingway rolled up his pastry, okay, to make a cone for the ice cream. Okay, to make a cone for the ice cream. Number 4, what did Ruth Wakefield get from Nestle in exchange of her recipe? The cookies I'm talking about, cookies, chocolate chip, and so on. Okay, she received a lifetime supply of chocolate chips. Number 5, why did George Crumb originally create the potato chip? Actually, because a customer complained about his French fries being too soggy, okay? Means that too thick, okay? Crumb was going to teach him a lesson by giving him a very crisp French fries, okay, which is the thinner one, okay, which is the thinner one. Good. Now we will move to writing, okay, writing here on pages 62 and 63. So you are going to write a description of a memorable meal. How you are going to do this actually, okay? It might have been a special occasion or just an ordinary meal when something special happened, okay? Before you write, use this graphic designer about the topic, okay? So you should write the topic, okay, first. Then this organizer will help you remember the details of where you were, okay? I'm talking about where, okay? Then who you were with, who, talking about people. Also, what you ate, so what kind of food. And when it was, talking about the time. And why it was special, talking about the cause, and give us the reason, okay, why. So here, use this graphic designer to talk or to write details, okay. Let's see how actually we can write an essay about a memorable meal, okay, writing an essay about a memorable meal. First, brainstorm and picture different what, okay. Brainstorm, it means that you need to remember, okay, the occasion. Picture different events, occasions, or scenes, okay. Then make notes about the pictures in your mind, okay, using the graphic designer, Then think about the reader, okay. Think about your reader or audience and select information accordingly, okay. So you need to select information that will help the reader, okay, imagine or picture the essay as he lived there or as he attend this occasion. Check to make sure you would not offend, okay, would not offend anyone through your account, okay. This information would not offend, okay, humiliate or something like that. Focus on the people, okay, the setting, okay, the events, the feelings, okay, as required to highlight the aspects, okay, to highlight aspects you want to focus on, okay. Focus on people, who, okay, the setting, for example, where and what, the events, okay, the feelings, and so on. Try to express your feelings and emotion using, or when you write a descriptive essay, as you can see here, a memorable event, about a memorable event. Good. Now let's see a model answer about how you can write the essay. So here, a memorable holiday dinner, okay. What happened here? I will never forget a meal I had during my freshman year of college. Okay, so now he is describing what? Okay, his memorable meal. When he was in his freshman year of college. Most students went home for the holidays, but some, like me, who came from different countries, stayed on campus. Okay, we talked about campus. Do you remember this word? Yeah. So, although I had always looked forward, okay, to the big holiday, okay, we talked about this one, okay, when I'm talking about the phrasal verbs, okay, looked forward, okay, the verb and the particle, to the big dinner, a holiday dinner at home. This year, I figured I would make do with a sandwich, okay, but then I talked with a few other students who had stayed, okay, and we came up, okay, another phrasal verb, okay. We came up with a plan to whip up our own holiday dinner, okay. So here, as you can see, I used this one as a model. When you write your essay, try to use this one, okay, and to take a picture and imagine what you are going to write about. Then we will move to form, meaning, and function. And when I'm talking about form, meaning, and function, you know that we are going to take or talk about grammar, okay, to talk about grammar. First, we will start with countable and non-countable nouns, okay. Countable nouns, we talked about this earlier, when we can count them, okay. We can count, for example, 1 pen, 2 pens, okay. 1 car, 2 cars, okay. What about non-countable nouns? It means that we cannot count, like for example milk, rice, sugar. Okay, all of these we cannot count these nouns. For example, use here. Count nouns. Name things that you can count. Okay, 1 carrot, 2 carrots, and etc. They have singular. Okay, so they have singular and plural forms. Okay, look, a burger, an egg. Okay, we used a and an here. Okay, while we can use also 2 burgers and 3 eggs. 2 burgers and 3 eggs. Okay, so we used singular and plural forms. So what about non-count here? Non-count nouns, name things that you can't count. Okay, so the first one, countable nouns, it means that we are going to count. Okay, but the non-count ones here, you cannot count them, like rice or tea and etc. They don't use a and an, definite article, and of course talking about a and an. They don't have plural forms. Okay, the plural forms, they don't have plural forms, so we cannot use plural form with the non-countable nouns. Some nouns, of course, can be count or non-count. Okay, like a salad. Okay, can say for example, can I have 1 salad? Okay, or 2 salads, and so on. Okay, can we have for example a salad here, as you can see, or some salad, saying okay, a soup or some soup. Okay, so as you can see, soup and salad are both, you can use it as both, okay, countable and non-countable nouns. Then we'll go to expressions of a quantity. What do I mean by quantity here? Using only some or any. Using only some and or any. Okay, so you are going to use some. Okay, in what? Use some in affirmative statement, and sometimes for offers, and we are going to talk about this inshallah later. Use any, okay, in negative statement and questions. Okay, so in negative and questions. Okay, let's see examples actually. There is some juice. Okay, you cannot say there is any juice. No. Okay, here we use some. And in negative, as you can see, in negative statements, there isn't any. You cannot say there isn't some. Okay? And in question 2, we will use any. Is there any juice? Okay, or are there any fries? As you can see, so we will use some, okay, with the affirmative, okay, and here we will use any in negative and in questions. Okay, use some or any with non-count, okay, non-count nouns and with plural nouns. Okay, so this is important. When do we use them? Okay, we use them, some and any, with non-count nouns and with the plural nouns, not singular, plural nouns. Okay, so sometimes some is used in questions for offers. Okay, for what? For offers. Okay, so do you want some pizza? Or how about some coffee? Okay, so now I am offering. Okay, so I can use some here when I'm talking about offering. Not in ordinary questions like this here. Is there any juice? You cannot use some here because here this question is not like this. Okay, so here we are talking about offers. Okay, how about some coffee? Okay, good. Then we would like to move to preferences. Okay, when you talk about how you can ask someone or use would like for preferences. Okay, so use would like, okay, to give him a choice. For example, what would you like? Okay, I'd like a steak sandwich. Okay, and as you can see, would you like some mustard on it? Okay, so here I am using again some and as offer. Okay, would you like some mustard on it? Okay, yes please, or no thank you. or no. Thank you. So we used would like here for preferences, giving you a choice to accept or to decline. Finally, we will talk about also expressions of a quantity. Okay, we talked about some and any, okay, earlier, but now we will talk about a few, a little, a lot of, much, many, and of course enough. Look here. First, we will talk about the countable nouns. Okay, as you can see, you need a few tomatoes. Okay, so here I used a few when I'm talking about something. Here, as you can see, you need a few tomatoes. As you can see, I did not use singular. Okay, I used plural. As you can see, countable nouns. I eat many vegetables. Okay, vegetables. Okay, plural. How many bananas do you eat? How many bananas do you eat? So I used plural. Okay, what about the non-countable here? So here, you need a little cheese. Okay, I don't eat much bread. Also, how much milk do you drink? How much milk do you drink? Okay, so can you recognize now the difference between countable and non-countable nouns using these expressions of quantity? As you can see, we use here a few. It means something that is the amount of thing is like a few. Okay, what about here? Little. Okay, also here about many vegetables, and here I don't eat much. Okay, so I use many with countable and much with non-countable. Okay, good. What about a lot of and enough? A lot of and enough. Okay, for both countable and non-countable nouns. Okay, I eat a lot of eggs, but I don't eat a lot of bread. Okay, so I can use enough and a lot of with countable and non-countable nouns. I don't eat enough fruit. Okay, I don't drink enough water. Okay, as you can see here. So here, as I said, a lot of and enough could be used with both countable and non-countable nouns. Finally, we will talk about sequence words. Okay, what do I mean by sequence? It means that when you have something to tell, a story to tell, or something that you are going to, for example, to say in order, okay, or steps, okay, use first, then, after that, and finally. As you can see, first you mix the flour and the eggs, then you add a little butter. Okay, after that you put in a teaspoon of baking powder. Finally, you let it rise. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, I used sequence words to tell, okay, like as I said, something in order, or to tell a story, what happened first, then after that, and finally. Okay, good. Now we are going to move to listen and discuss Unit 5, Amazing Animals. Amazing Animals. This is the title actually of this unit. Amazing Animal new unit. You are going to listen and the first one. Listen and discuss here. I'm gonna ask you these two questions. Okay, in what ways are animals similar to human? Okay, so you need to think about this question. In what ways are animals similar to humans? And how are they different? Okay, so I'm talking about similarities. Okay, and when you want to talk about this one here, you should say what is the difference between human, and when talking about ways, human and animals. Number 2, do you think animals and humans can communicate, okay, with each other? Can they communicate? Okay, for example, can they understand each other? Okay, and if so, in what way, or in what ways here? I need you to think about this, okay, and then go and read the passage or the article on pages 68 and 69. Okay, read them and then come back please to answer, of course, the questions. Okay, let's go to a quick check. vocabulary, match the words with their meanings. Okay, so here we have 6 words and we have, of course, 6 meanings. Let's start. Number 1, residence, which is the place where someone lives, like home, for example. Number 2, bond, and the answer is E, connection between 2 living things. It's like join or combine something together. 3, duration. Duration is length of time. Okay. 4, abstract. What do we mean by abstract? Which is F, relating to ideas or feelings. Okay. For example, talking about abstract objects or abstract things, it means that in your mind or feelings or idea. While we can use the concrete, for example, something concrete, something that you can touch, okay, or you can see. Okay, so this is the difference between abstract and concrete. 5, pampered, okay, and it is C, indulged, okay, and 6, adapted. What does it mean, adapted? It means that A, adjusted to something new, okay, it means that adjusted to something new. And we saw how Christian actually adapted with his owners, okay, when we said that he adjusted to the environment and the place, okay, when he was live in the basement. Okay, now let's go to the questions here. Number 1, how is the Bank-Swan said to predict the weather on Groundhog Day? Number 2, how did Coco communicate? 3, what kinds of words did Coco use? 4, what is the chief mouser to the cabinet office? 5, how did Rendell and Burke take care of Christian? Number 6, and finally, what happened when Rendell and Burke traveled to Africa to see Christians? Okay, so now we are going to see the answers. Okay, number 1, if the Bank-Swan sees his shadow, okay, what will happen? Of course, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. And if he doesn't see his shadow, then the spring will arrive. Okay, so it depends on the shadow. Number 2, how did we say Coco communicate? Coco communicated using human sign language. Okay, human sign language. Number 3, Coco used both basic and abstract words. 4, I'm talking about the chief mouser, okay? It's a cat that lives in the Prime Minister's residence, okay? The cat's job is to catch mice, 5, they kept Christian in their basement, okay, in London. They took him everywhere and pampered him, took care of him, okay? And number 6, Christian remembered them and was very happy to see them when he sat, okay, using his legs, okay, and he looked happy actually when Christian remembered them and was very happy for seeing them. Okay. Now we will move to grammar, and today we will talk about passive models. Okay, what do I mean by models? As you can see, using these, okay, like will, for example, may, can, should, okay, have to, and must. Okay, these are the models we are talking about. Okay, so passive models follow this structure. This is how you can actually use the passive. And when I'm talking about passive, it means that this is the opposite of active. Okay, we have active and passive, active sentence and passive sentence, and we use the passive sentence here if we don't care about, for example, the doer. Okay, we focus on the action itself. Okay, so here the structure will be the model, as you can see, will, may, can, might, should, have to, must, and of course after that we will use be. Okay, finally the past participle, the past participle. Let's see the active model here. They will release the tiger into the wild. Okay, so here I am focusing on the tiger. Okay, I don't care who are they, okay, or who are going to release the tiger. Okay, they are unimportant. Okay, unimportant or something like that. Okay, so here they or the vet or you. Okay, we don't know the doer, for example. Okay, so we don't care about the doer. Then we will focus on the, as you can see here, the action itself, and of course we will emphasize them. Then the tiger will be released. Okay, here the V3 is used. Okay, not only in the perfect tense. Okay, we will use the V3 also with the passive models, as you can see. So here the tiger will be released. Okay, well, using the model. B, also essential, and release the past participle of the verb. Good. We will move now to the passive with reporting verbs. Okay, using the passive with reporting verb. Of course, we often use, okay, the passive with reporting verbs when we want to talk about what people say or think, okay, or believe sometimes. Okay, but the identity of the people isn't known or isn't important. Okay, isn't important. So okay, here we will start with the first one. Number one, use, this is the structure. Okay, it, then the passive reporting verb, that, and the clause. Okay, as you can see, it is said that she is the leading expert on guerrilla communication. Okay, so people say that she is the leading expert. People say that. Okay, what about believe? Here it is believed that dolphins are the most intelligent of animals. Okay, so we use this one here, this structure, to talk about or to report, okay, verbs, to talk about what people say or believe. The second one, the second structure we'll talk about also is this one, subject, then the passive reporting verb, and the infinitive. Okay, sometimes we'll use the perfect infinitive. Okay, sometimes. She is said to be the leading expert on guerrilla communication. She, of course, talking about dolphins are believed to be the most intelligent of animals. Okay, so with the present tense sentences, the passive reporting verb is followed by a present infinitive. Okay, so here the cat is thought to be lost. Okay, so when the present is used, present tense, then the verb is followed by present infinitive. While using the past tense, okay, it means that it will be followed by perfect infinitive. Okay, so the cat was thought, was, okay, not like is, was thought to have been lost. Okay, sometimes last week. Okay, sometime last week. Finally, these are the reporting verbs that can be used in the passive include believe, calculate, claim, consider, estimate, expect, feel, hope, say, and think. Okay, say and think. Finally, okay, these are the objectives. As you can see, point out how certain popular foods were discovered. Okay, and of course, write a description of a memorable meal, differentiate between countable and non-countable nouns, classify expressions of quantity according to the type of nouns, name a way humans can use to communicate with animals, structure a correct passive model, and finally, report a passive verb. Okay, I would like to thank all of you for watching us today, and inshallah, I will see you at the next lesson. Goodbye.